And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, welcome to another episode of It Sure Is a Podcast, and we got some ground to cover in the way that there was no episode last week, even though I posted that there would be an episode, and then there was just no episode.
You have to keep the people guessing because they're going to be like, cool, they get excited for it. But then the ones who aren't excited because they were lied to, then they're mad. Then they have to listen to every episode like religiously, but don't do it in a religious fashion.
Yes.
Or do. I do. Being a cult leader is still one of my dreams, but
It is a dream that one day we will maybe all achieve. But yeah,
no, only the worthy will be allowed into the cult.
The cult of denim. All denim, all the time. Kissing Tuesday or whatever we decided.
Gotta listen.
That was a while ago, but that was a good one. Yeah, no, just this week, super busy, lost track of time, but also from the podcast off the air, one of the guys is going to help me set up computer settings so this can sound beautiful. And hopefully, what you're hearing right now is much better than the previous quality. And I'm thinking season 3, we started off with sounding good, but we're both busy people. We got stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm learning recently that being an adult, like a career-driven adult, is very hard. I was like, I'd actually have to work hard today. I was gonna look up topics for this while at work, and I recently, humble brag, most people probably don't care, but I'm not gonna say too
Yes,
much about
in a
it, but
shop.
I
Yes.
was out on the shop floor. I'm in a not necessarily like a production role. I'm in a quality role, but I'm
Right.
still out on the floor.
Yes,
Well,
on the dance floor. Yes.
hell yeah. Not really. I can't dance to save my life, but I look like I'm having a seizure. It's not pretty to watch. But they redid a bunch of the offices and because they needed to utilize the space better and they've hired more people. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
They offered me a desk.
You actually have a desk now?
So I still have to go out onto the floor for a lot of my job duties, but I also am on the computer a lot more, so I now have a desk.
With your name
Yep.
on it? Like, is there a little plaque with your name on
There
it?
is. You can't see where the plaque is because of the way the desk is in the corner. So it's against a wall and it's like a big U shape because my boss is
Oh,
on one corner,
like the U-shaped desk. Oh, you
but it's
know
like
you
yeah,
made it.
it's up against the wall. So there's a little divider. He has his little front section. I'm facing the wall, but there's a little portion on the end that sticks out and they put it on that side. So the guy sitting on the
Oh,
opposite wall can see mine and they did it to him too and I can see his. Nobody else can see it.
I mean, at least it's
I really want to
there.
take it off and like put it in front of me and be like, "This is mine. I claim this
Yeah,
land."
I was gonna say, you've worked for that. Like, that's...
I have been there for 5 years. I have worked my ass off.
And they're like, all right, we got you a desk. And you're like, finally. And you get there and your name plaque is like
I did.
facing the
I was like,
opposite
I wonder
direction.
when I'm gonna get like for the first few days. I'm like, I wonder when they're gonna put my name plaque up. And then the guy was like, "Dude, it's up." It's like,
You didn't
oh.
even notice it. That is the first thing I go after when I see a desk. I'm like, "Where's my name plaque?"
No, I think I'm gonna like go on Etsy or something. I'm gonna buy like one of those like old school like nameplates for your desk, like the old ones. I'm gonna just buy
Yes.
my own and set it on the desk. Give myself some crazy title.
I mean, I have a desk now at my job, but it's a different type of environment. So like my name is on the door going into the room, right?
Oh, so
And
you got
well,
office. I
well,
just have a desk.
here's the thing about it is that there were other people who used to work there whose names were there, but they have all been left. They have left or they got fired. And I asked them, "Can I take those down?" And they're like, "No, we can't do that." I don't know why I was told no because they don't work there. But I'm like, whatever. So what I did was I got like uh a really nice stylized nameplate for myself and no one else. And it's like my name is like up there, Brandon. And it's like really nice, really pops out. You're like, wow, he spent a few dollars on that, and then everyone else is just like a piece of paper that someone typed on, like in italic bold or impact, and just put it on there, and everyone's looking at that because all right, not all the names are people who are fired, but most of them are. There's still a few people who work there, and they're like, why didn't you change those? I'm like, they could change them if they want. I ain't changing their names.
I ain't paying for them. This was
Yeah,
expensive.
this was expensive for me to be bougie.
But like, yeah, I've worked really hard. I got the desk. I'm gonna put something there. I also have to find something either super nerdy or super, I'll say, borderline inappropriate, because now I'm like, I gotta get into
Um,
office culture. I've never
Office
done it. I've
culture.
always been like a blue collar floor worker. So we can say whatever we want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, in the
Um,
office, what happens in the office stays in the office.
yeah, but that's why I want to get something borderline inappropriate and put it on there, and for people to be like, okay, we know what it means, but because it doesn't explicitly say it, I can't tell you to not have it there.
Yes,
So I can just
exactly.
I'm gonna be the Karen in the no, I'm not gonna be the Karen. I wanna be somebody fun.
Yeah, you want to be
I'm
like
gonna be
the
Dave, I guess. I'm gonna be the Dave of the
Dave.
office.
I could go with the Dave. I could go with the Dave.
He's like,
Ooh.
everybody's like, why do we have him here? They're like, he does good work. We just don't know what it is. And that's literally my job. People are like, why do we hire you? Why do we pay you? I'm like, because you can't do this without me.
And then they ask like, "What do you do?" And you're like, "Couldn't tell you because I don't know."
Well, it was really funny is because I've been having doubts a lot about like it's so basically I do one thing, but it applies to 18,000 things where I work.
Yes.
So it's like I don't feel like I'm useful, but it's a super critical thing we do. Well, today I think everybody got a taste of it because an engineer came in and was
Okay.
like, "Hey, this guy's saying this whatever is, not in tolerance. They can't use it, yada yada yada."
Yes. Yes.
And everybody was like, well, so I grabbed it and I was like, well, it's not labeled, so it's a personal equipment, so we can't use it. This is also old and outdated. I would recommend he buys new ones. And then I like tested it on there. Also, I'm testing it and this is fine. He's just really bad at using this. And I pulled out mine and I calibrated it and I checked it again. I just did like 14 things real quick and I was like, our stuff is good. He's bad. He's not allowed to use this until it gets in the system, and I still don't want him to use it because it's not accurate. And everybody, my
Yes.
boss and everybody was just staring at me, and I was like, "Yeah, see, I am useful."
I am useful. You just took control of that situation. You took control of the floor, and you're like, "Listen, da 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 da."
Well, and that's the thing is, I'm always quiet. I'm like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't, because if I don't know about it, I'm not gonna speak on it. But that was something I knew, and I won't say in charge of, but I'm very involved in. I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing. This is what's gonna happen.
That's how I react whenever someone
It's like,
whenever someone starts talking about the TV show, and you're not even gonna know what this is, but talk about the TV show Slug Terra, and I come bursting, and I'm like, "Well, I don't know nothing about nothing, but I know about this. Okay, so this is what's happening."
I also realized, like, thinking back through it in my head, that was probably super boring for all the people to listen to, but it was a breakthrough for me to just sit there and tell, like, super smart people like my boss and the engineer and the other quality engineers who were there, and I was just like, nah, this what we doing.
This is what
And
we
they
doing.
listened.
They listen to you for once, and then afterwards, you're sitting there, and they're like, "Now what?" And you're like, "I didn't think I'd get this far."
Yeah, after that, I just kind of turned back around and hunched my shoulders and started typing again on
Back
the
to the
keyboard.
keyboard.
I
Back
was
to
like,
the
I'm back to doing my programming now, guys.
Well, what's so funny about having the adult job is you think you're just unless it's like a manual labor job, you're always out there like working. No, you find out that you're just sitting behind a computer most of the day. Even for me in my job, I'm sitting behind a computer most of the day, and I'm like, I hate this.
That's what happened. Like, I constantly moving around, moving stuff, like in like measuring stuff, and
Yes.
just and eventually it, because we brought on more people, and I kind of uh was the senior person there.
Right. The senior person,
I
the
don't I
senior
s-
lad.
yeah, I still don't have a title, but they're basically made me the supervisor without the title or the pay. But whatever. Hopefully that changes. But yeah, so then my boss was like, "Yeah, you want a desk? It seems like you're on the computer all day." And I was like, "Is that a backhanded compliment? Is he telling me I screw around a lot, or is he actually being nice?" Now, he's a awesome dude. If he ever listens to this, like he
Nice save. Nice save. Yes.
No,
Good.
I have had some shitty bosses. Pardon my language, but I have had some truly awful bosses. He's not one of them. He actually like does stuff to make my
You
job
get those good
easier.
bosses sometimes, and those good bosses, you want to protect them at all costs.
He is one of 2 bosses that I have ever like truly liked because the first one was like super nice to me. I mean, I worked at a grocery store. It's not really like they can do much for you.
Right.
But
I mean, but just being a nice, decent human being.
Yeah, just treating me like a human and listening to me. She was awesome.
Yes.
Now, this current boss like makes my job easier on a day-to-day. Amazing. I'm like, like I had a problem and you fixed it. And he's like, yeah, that's my job. And I'm like, you're my god now. We will sacrifice to the creator god.
And he's like, you don't need to do that. Come in the next day, you have this giant pyre made, and you're throwing on like interns. They're like, like just bursting the
These
flames.
men questioned your leadership. We will sacrifice them to the fire.
And you're dressed like a little goblin in a loincloth,
Yeah.
and like a vest that's way too small, and you're like, for the boss god, and you throw another intern into the fire, and he's like, as long as he's doing his work, I guess we need him.
Quick side note, I also just realized because you said that, I'm gonna get a nameplate that says Eric, insert last name here, Boss God.
Boss God. The boss god. Yes, the boss god. Yeah, I don't like that role of being a boss, because then everyone looks to you for guidance, and I'm like, I am surprised to get through day to day, just simple things. I'm surprised I have the job I have now. I'm surprised like people seek me out for advice, and I'm like, do you know I'm stupid?
Is it just me? But like, there are days where I still feel like I'm a 16-year-old kid. Like, I mean, not physically. Physically, I'm a 90-year-old man. But like mentally, there are days where I'm like, I feel like just that kid still waiting for the adults to tell him what to do. And then I realize, oh no, the adults are asking me what my plan is. And I was like, oh, I'm 30 and I'm supposed to have some answers at this point.
and you are filled with an absolute dread.
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, it's because for the longest time, it was a horrible job because I had I didn't hate my last boss. He was just not very good at being a boss.
Oh yeah, you can totally have that. Like, I like the person, I don't like how they work, their work ethic.
Like outside of work, I bet he would have been awesome. But inside of work, he wasn't mean or anything. He didn't do anything to make my job easier, and it just.
And then you really appreciate the bosses that make the job easier.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But we were falling so I almost quit. I got to the point where I was so buried and nothing was changing. I almost had to quit because it was like it was starting to affect my home life and everything. But now they hired more people, we got more equipment. It's actually a really good job for me to have now. I'm just lost because I'm not running from fire to fire trying to catch up when you're 6 months behind.
And you don't know what to do with all this free time.
And I mean, I have a bunch of stuff I know I need to work on, but I'm like, but now I have to plan again. I have to be an adult, sit down and think and plan out what to do. What is my first shift person going to do? What is my second shift person going to do? What am I going to do?
I'm not going to sit down and just hide behind the computer and play RuneScape all day.
Well, and now that I'm in the office, I can't because everybody's right there and they can see what I'm working on.
I would just be the guy who just pulls up the phone and sets it on its side and tucks it in there and just.
And I don't even
yes, play RuneScape.
So like my boss and the I guess other senior guy who's there, they're facing out, so their computers are facing the wall. So the only people who can see their computers are me and the guy next to me.
Yeah.
Ours are against the wall, so anybody walking by can look over and see what we're doing.
I hate that. Even though I'm doing my work, I just hate
it's the privacy thing. I'm seriously tempted to like put up a little divider. I don't think they would let me because they want some camaraderie. But I was like, don't look at what I'm doing.
Camaraderie.
What are you watching back there? Porn. Don't come back here.
And you're just doing your job, but you would
just
rather just them not look at, because if they're looking over your shoulder, then they can be like, oh, you're doing that wrong. Or,
what do you mean
what
porn?
About that
I can see Excel open on your computer. No, it's porn.
So you scroll down and like what you did was in all the different sections of Excel.
You just zoom out and it's just a giant boob.
It's a giant boob just made out of different letters and like words.
I figured out the formula to highlight all the cells to make a gigantic boobie.
See, I need my privacy. You better get away from here. And they're just like, oh yeah, that is the such and such report. All right, good job, thank you. And you're like, crap, man.
Unintentionally boss at my job.
I got this pair of sweatpants over here. Like, I drove over here after waking up from a nap, and I feel kind of gross. And there's this massive hole in the sweatpants, and I'm just sitting here just fingering this thing. Like, I run my hand over it, and then I'm just like, oh, hello. Let me just jam a thumb in there.
Yeah, isn't it funny too when you're like, I know I can't do that because it's just gonna rip and make it worse, but immediately you're like, I wonder if I could fit my whole fist through here.
Right?
And you're just like, I just want to see.
Yeah.
Just the tip.
Oh, no. Oh, no, my computer's being stupid. Hold on.
Uh,
Where's the mouse? Go to this one.
is it not
Person.
recording?
No, it is recording.
Oh.
It just gave me a warning. We're restarting your computer in 5 minutes.
We're just talking mid sentence. Boom.
Yeah, that's why I
Damn
stopped it. It has to update, and it was like, we're restarting it. I'm like, snooze that. You ain't doing that. Yeah, because like these, I'm just like 2 fingers are in there, and I'm just attempted just to rip this in half, but then I have to walk out of your house with just like my ass hanging out. And your wife's probably just like, what were you guys doing?
Clip
up
that
there?
out of context. Clip that out of context. I just wanted 2 fingers in there, and like I just want to tear it in half now, and then walk with my ass out.
Just tear it open. Just yeah, that's interesting.
It's better. At least you're here and not at work. I definitely
That
went to
is
work one
true.
day and did not realize like my shorts were the back pocket was ripped off. Like it was hanging. Thankfully, I was wearing boxers, but you could just see
Just butt cheek.
it was everywhere. I think it got low enough. It was almost like somebody was like, "I don't think you can wear that here," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like,
No.
just ran and grabbed a bunch of tape and just taped it up.
And that's what you gotta do sometimes. It's what you
Somebody
gotta
told me,
do.
they're like, "Do you want to go home and change?" I'm like, "Am I gonna get paid for it?" He was like, "No." I'm like, "You can deal with my tape ass for one day."
You can deal with my butt cheek hanging out as you like wildly slap it and walk out of the office. So let's talk about a recent medical emergency slash situation I had. I wouldn't say completely emergency, but it was something that happens, of course, to a 30-year-old.
Hemorrhoids.
No, but those do happen though.
I'm really worried about hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoids. They're gonna be the bane of my existence. No, it's not hemorrhoids. Get off of the subject of hemorrhoids.
I was gonna see how long I could keep that going.
No, because it does involve something related. Okay, I get home from work as you almost spit your drink all over the room.
It's the second time in a half hour he's got pop up my nose. Damn it, that really hurt.
I had that happen to me yesterday, and I'm sitting there, and like how I got it out was I just like covered my mouth and just like shot it out my nose. That was the fastest way I could think of it. It was terrible. So I get home from work, long day, I'm tired, and I need to poop. Okay? And it's one of those poops that like you feel bloated. You feel like gross. You feel fat. You feel like your kidneys are swollen.
It feels like you ate, we'll just say, like 14 tacos from Taco Bell, but you just swallowed them whole and they are just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Your stomach is distended from it all.
That's the word I'm like, distended. I felt like that. And honestly, my work days are so hectic. I mean, we don't have scheduled breaks because that's just the way it is. But also, I don't really eat lunch unless I have a free moment. And also, I don't really go to the bathroom unless it's an emergency, just because so much going on and so much to do. So I come home, I'm like, I need to poop. So I sit down in the toilet and I poop, right? But it feels a little too good. The poop feels little just like a really good poop, but there's another component of the feel good part. And I'm trying to hint around the what occurred before I reveal. So this is just a huge poop, and I'm sitting there,
I'm really interested to
and
see where this goes.
and it felt a little too good.
Like unnatural relief, kind
Yes,
of.
unnatural relief.
Did you poop out some of your intestine?
No.
Okay,
No,
I'm not
I
gonna lie, I
didn't.
was legitimately worried there for a
No,
minute.
and maybe you know something more on this because as soon as this happened, I'm still on the pot and I'm looking up WebMD for what just happened to me. Um, I full on ejaculated from this poop. Like,
I don't have a response to that.
like a lot. And I looked down and I'm like, is that? No, it couldn't be. And then I looked and there was just
The
it
golden.
it connected to it still coming from the shaft. I'm like, oh, I
Oh,
just
you said oh.
I just finished from a poop?
Am I into scat play?
Oh no!
50 Shades ain't got nothing on
I
me.
have a kink now. No.
Do you want to know the actual truth? Is that I'm
I'm
gonna let you finish your story, and then I'm gonna like take a lot of the fun out of the
all
story.
right, good, because I was genuinely concerned, and a part of me was like, "All right, I take this to my grave. That's fine."
No, I'm just gonna put it in recorded audio.
Another part of me was like,
for
I have a
everyone.
podcast. I feel like it is my civic duty to throw this out there into the world. Maybe someone else has dealt with it and didn't want to say anything. Like,
If this is the thing that puts us on the map, if we get like an unclipped, like an audio clip of this that just goes freaking viral, everybody's like, "Yo, you guys gotta check this out." I will be happy for the viewership. We love all of our viewers, but I'm
You're like, out of everything we've talked about, that was
literally
it.
out of everything I have said, out of everything you have said, that's the one you guys are gonna latch
Because
on to.
there are times that we are actually kind of profound. We kind of have deep
We have
statements
had
and thoughts.
several profound moments and super funny. I still laugh about the dead corpse pinata on the freaking rail just going around the party for people to hit. That is one of my favorite clips.
That was such a good bit. Oh.
Oh.
But yeah, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking it up, and there's just so many different. It's like, did this happen? Do you have a weak prostate? And I'm like, this is something that would happen to a 30-year-old. And I'm sitting there just in shock. I don't know what to do. And well, I had to clean up, but like the amount in there it was impressive. It was an
So,
impressive amount. And I
yeah.
was just like, dude, I think like I don't know. What I read is like maybe I was just so full that like everything was backed up and it just hit my prostate on the way out, and it was like bleep. Like there was
I
no
was
like hardening, there was no erection. It just like blah, and I was like,
so that's kind of what I'm gonna poke a little bit or take a little bit of the fun out of the
all right,
story.
please do, because I'm actually genuinely concerned, and instead of like
I
seeking
think you've
actual help,
already basically said it. That for any of you who don't know, well, you do have a kink, but it's not poop.
it is not poop.
You
It's
are.
muscular women. Yes, continue.
Well, I was gonna say there. I think there's several factors that are contributing to this. One is if it was an impressive amount, it probably actually was pressing on your prostate. For any men who do not know, the male G spot is in your butthole. You, my friend, have a butthole fetish, your own.
Well, yeah,
So
I guess
that's
I
one.
do.
So that
Oh
was probably
shoot.
that. Two, I'm not gonna go too much into it, but we've both been very busy at work, so I'm going to assume self-care might not be coming on as much either. So there's that. And
Phrasing
three,
coming on. Phrasing.
I didn't. Damn it! I wish I would have
You
like
didn't mean
did
it.
that
You
on
did.
purpose.
I know. Yeah.
I'm not that smart. But
Yeah.
three, which I will not mention on the podcast, but there's also something else going on in your personal life that I feel would bring certain of these situations more
Yes.
to the forefront.
Yeah. You're probably right. It
Also,
was.
maybe we can't release this one for a little while until things are but anyway, I'm gonna say I think there's three actual legitimate reasons that it happened.
Yeah, and I think it's more the first one, and that's what I said. And it was just like go on to the forums. I'm like, this just happened, and it was a very strange experience because just for a second, just a moment, it was just like I'm pooping, and then I'm just like, "Ah!" And then I looked down. I'm like, what just happened? And yes, it was pretty close to that sound.
So, in solidarity, I'm going to share a big fear of mine because I am also 30. However, because there are a lot of medical issues on my side of the family, namely cancer, I think that instead of waiting until 40 for a prostate exam and a colonoscopy and all that fun stuff, I'm supposed to get it younger because if you catch it early, it's not a big deal, or
Yeah.
it cannot become. Well, I had an aunt who passed away very young from it, so
Oh,
I
jeez.
actually have a doctor's appointment coming up. I have to bring it up, and we'll talk about it. And yada yada yada. However, if I have to get it done early enough, I think the reason they wait until you're an older man is because you don't have to worry about getting boners as much. I am truly worried that if I have to get a finger up my butt exam, they're gonna do it, and it is just gonna be instant boing, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna be like, what? No!
But no. I mean, you got to think
But
though. Like,
doctor, why? And he's gonna be like, it's more common than you think. I don't care that it's more common than I think. It's no.
I mean, they're literally like just pressing the button, and they're just like, how's it working? You know, that is more common, but also. Yeah.
Then I gotta
After your
come.
exam, you come back. You're like, yeah, it was really, it was fine. Yeah, some weird stuff happened, but what was weird was he put on the, latex gloves, and then he put it in, but both his hands were on my shoulders. So what he put in?
He said it was a thermometer, but I think he was lying.
I think that wasn't the truth at all.
No, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna pick up the Roku remote and I'm gonna throw it at my wife and be like, "All right, apparently I have a new kink." And then she'll throw it back and hit me in the face and be like, "You're a perv. Don't do that." But I am truly terrified they're gonna do. It's gonna be like pressing. You know how in video games you press. We'll bring it back to video games now. Pressing like the R button to shoot. He's gonna press the R button and it's gonna be like Lance. Okay, it's more gonna be like the.
It's like Bloodborne when you switch to a trick weapon.
Yeah,
that's you pull out the weapon, and that's what you do. You pull out the weapon, and then it's like trick. You pull out the cleaver to extend it, and it's just like your lance is just like, and you're like, I'm ready to fight the scourge.
No, they're gonna do that. I'm gonna look down and be like, "Sir, are you okay?" No, just continue and we can be done. I'm gonna.
That's like one of those. I like that meme that goes around every so often. It's like guys be afraid of the moan in their girls' ear, and I'm over here like. I was like thinking about that. That's what I thought about when we were talking about it. Just like.
Well, that's I'm worried he's gonna put it. It's gonna be like.
Oh yeah.
Doctor's like, excuse me.
Sorry. It's. Yeah, I have a very particular lifestyle. I'm sorry. Just every time you just put it in there, that I make a noise. It's like,
I also do want to
right.
point out, I'm not shaming anybody who likes that. I
No,
know that like
definitely
male
not.
pegging is like a way bigger thing. I'm not shaming. It's just I never. And again, this is not definitive. This hasn't happened yet, but it is a fear of mine. Just because I've never seen myself like enjoying that, and I learned it was only actually in like the past year or two that apparently there is true sexual stimulation for a dude in his butthole, and I'm like, oh crap!
yeah.
I hope I am a sick and demented individual. It is a very real fear of mine that will happen.
And you're just like, and I will like it. You have caution tape and warning signs all around your prostate, and you're like, no one goes near it. I don't know what it does.
If that is a thing, I am getting it tattooed above. Like I'll get the tramp stamp that says exit only.
With an arrow pointing down, and it's like one of those like construction worker signs, like exit only. Oh, that would be fantastic. I would advocate for that for you to get that.
The dude who's doing it, he's like, it's really funny because the dude next to you is getting one that says express lane in the same spot.
And you look over and he's just like, hey.
Again, no shame. It's
No
just
shaming.
A fear of mine because I've never been a butt play person.
But in that situation, it's a doctor, but like you have to put yourself out there and be vulnerable, even though it's a very traditional, very routine checkup and something that
Oh, I don't have any
you
problem
should
taking my
do.
pants down in front of doctors. Actually, the one day I had to do it because I thought I had a hernia, and you gotta like bear it all.
Yeah.
And I ain't got nothing impressive, so I was like, I don't care, whatever. I'm not trying to impress you. However, there was a younger woman there who was like shadowing or into something.
Those are the worst. Those are the worst situations.
Well, she walked in and the I think she's a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
So step below doctor, but above nurse. They're super smart. They're just paid less.
Unfortunately, yes.
But yeah, she was there to do it or to check whatever, and she was like, "Well, this is my person. They're going to be assisting," and they're like, "Is it okay if she watches?" I'm like. She was very noticeably pregnant. And I looked down and I was like, you probably got something better waiting for you at home. I don't care if you look. And she immediately was like, I'm going to turn around for this portion of I was like, thanks for the vote of confidence.
Right, she's like, I learned that disgusting. I remember I went to the doctor's. All right, for the longest time, my whole life, I have just like issues with my ears. Well, when I was a kid, not anymore because my eardrum is just like chopped liver at this point. It is
It's
just
just useless.
it is just eviscerated because I would get ear infections so bad that they would have to lance my
Oh.
eardrum,
Oh.
suck it all out, put tubes in there, right.
Ah.
So whenever I would get them
How
really
are you not
bad,
deaf?
I don't know, which is impressive. I have no
I'm
idea how I'm
going
not deaf.
deaf, and I never had that.
I don't know. Maybe just all those years, just like that in there helped it. But like, I really try to avoid like getting water in my ears and stuff, just because it was bad. It was bad. Like I distinctly remember a very painful childhood of just ear infections and like sore throat infections because they would just
Mm.
always get infected. So I was when I was about 20, I had to go to the doctor's office, and what I had to do is I had to get a steroid shot in my butt to clear it out, right?
Hmm.
And that's where they put it, and they explained it to me. It's like the fastest way for it to go through your system compared to anyone else,
That's probably
anywhere
for like the
else.
tissue that absorbs it to get into your bloodstream.
Yeah. So what I did was I go into the office, and very similar situation, very, the nurse practitioner and the doctor, and he's like, all right, so what we need to do is we need to just and they had the door open still, and I was just being an idiot. And they were like, all right, so we just need you to just like lower the back of your pants so we can just
Oh,
inject
just
the
so they
shot. But
can
it's just
get.
like at the top of the butt cheek, right? And also they got hit with the your face tattoo that's on my ass.
I love that
Right.
tattoo.
So I'm sitting there, I get against the wall, right? And I just like drop my plants completely. I don't know why. My brain was just like that. And there's just like my junk's hanging out. The door is open. Like a nurse walks by and just like doesn't look in, but just like I think in the peripheral, she's like, is that man not have any pants on?
No,
And
she's
and the
probably looking
doctor was
in.
like, well, you just needed to unbuckle your belt. We could just lower it without that. I'm like, so then I have to squat down to pull my pants back up. And and this is when I
Do
was
you like my big brown eye?
and this was when I was a much bigger guy. So like I squat down, the balls hanging down, and just got to pull my pants back up. I'm like, and I out of instinct, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, first time. Even though I have been to this doctor how many times, and I just that's what I decided to say.
I just love the sheepish. Sorry, it's my first time.
But I had been there many times before. And
I really wish the doctor would have been like, "Yeah, I bet you've said that before."
You said that before. And then he stabbed me in the butt with it. And he was like, you didn't even wince. Like, you didn't, people usually tense up. And I'm just like, I got a high pain tolerance.
I do not. I don't. Mm-mm.
I told the story in the podcast before I had a root canal, and the numbing did not work at all. And I sat there through half the procedure with all the pain and feeling everything getting drilled into my head. And when they pulled the drills out, I'm like, question, is this supposed to hurt that bad? And they're like, it's not, you're not supposed to feel anything. I'm like, I felt
malpractice, shoot him up, shoot him up, shoot him up.
They get needles stabbing them into my face and just
immediately just into your neck. It's just morphine, and it's like, okay.
Oh, now I get why people abuse this.
Okay, opioid addiction is a very real thing.
Yes.
2, I also had a similar experience to that when I was like, something was happening going on in my stomach. They classified it as a liquid blockage.
Yeah.
Apparently, that is not diarrhea. So anybody out there who wants to make fun of me, I did medically explain to me that it was an actual blockage causing problems with my gastrointestinal tract. I thought I was dying, but anyway, I was in so much pain I couldn't breathe, and I was like, my arms were going numb because I wasn't breathing enough to get oxygen to the rest of my butt.
So you're literally just like suffocating almost.
Yeah, my vision was going dark, and then they were like, "Take a deep breath." I'm like, "I can't. It hurts." But anyway. So I get there. Apparently, I was so pale and I looked so shitty, no pun intended, that they took me back in front of everybody else. Fastest I've ever been through an emergency room. It was not a 6-hour wait. I was there 30 seconds. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna do your intake. You get called up real quick because you think you're getting called, but it's just paperwork. They put me out the back door from there because they're like, we don't want to upset anybody else, but you look like you need help. And so then I got worried.
Thank you.
And that's when I got worried because I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I was like, oh, wait, that means something's actually bad. Well, anyway, long story short, they shot me up with morphine and I wasn't in pain anymore.
You were just like relief.
I went in there. I had to get some, I don't know if it was an MRI or a CAT scan, but something. But I think they shot the dye in there so they could see whatever they were
the
doing.
dye. Yep, that is the thing.
Well, I made a joke to the nurse. I was high as a kite at this point, but I looked at him. I was like,
Mm.
"Yeah, they said they're gonna use the needle. Like the needle wasn't bad for the dye, but that was the size of a horse's penis. I don't know what they were saying." The nurses were laughing, and I apologized later when I was
Coherent.
sober-ish. Yeah, I was like, "Whoever those texts were, can you tell them I'm sorry?" I'm like, he was like, "Oh no, I heard. Like they thought it was hilarious."
At least they thought it was funny and you weren't like aggressively hitting on them because I
Oh
hear
no, I
that happen
wasn't
all
even
the
hitting.
time.
I was just like, they lied. That thing was huge. It really hurt. And I was like, but then you guys gave them morphine, and it was great.
And it was great.
And I had never done anything like that, so that morphine hit me like a truck.
When I got my wisdom teeth taken out, I'm a how do I put it? I'm the type of person I can handle a lot of pain. I mean, I got a bunch of tattoos. I've been through a bunch, so I can handle it. But like,
I don't care how manly or tough you think you are. Get your wisdom teeth out. You will be begging for something to take that pain away.
yeah, yeah, it was
I would
so.
take a heartbreak over getting the okay, I'm not gonna say that, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself. But seriously, that hurt.
Like after the sedative wore off, it was terrible. So after I got my wisdom teeth taken out, and that was the first time I was ever put to sleep for anything.
Same.
It's crazy. It's so what you close your eyes and then you just wake up.
How did you feel when you woke up?
At first, I felt okay, just a little like loopy and comparative to the things that I have ingested in my time as an adult. A little high, but or like a little, or even buzzed, just to compare. But it wasn't bad. So I'm.
I have to I swear this will be the
Yeah,
last
no,
time.
you're fine. You're fine. Jump in. Jump in.
I had a full-blown panic attack when I came out of it.
Hey, gamer. I'm just taking a second to check in on you. You see, the last time your mom and I were hanging out, she may have subtly dropped the hint that you're not really sure how to support the podcast. And honestly, when I walked out of her room only wearing a bath towel and we locked eyes, I could see it on your face. There's quite a few ways you can support the podcast. You can find us on Twitter at sure_podcast, over on Instagram, it sure is a podcast, YouTube, and TikTok. It sure is a podcast. That's all you got to look up. And then TikTok is for you Zoomers out there because I post some real stupid shit there. For Eric and I, you listening is probably just one of the best things in the world. But if you do want to support us, those are ways you can. Also, just tell a friend that, hey, we listened to a terrible podcast. You should hop in on this. Also, if you want to support us monetarily, whatever one that makes you give us money, you can go on over to www.buymeacoffee.com/ISIA podcast. There you can drop us a few bucks and be on your way. But like I said earlier, just you guys listening is really enough for us.
Apparently, I
Really?
was not supposed to be able to move, and I was in the fetal position crying when I woke up from the anesthesia.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like pale, shallow breathing, like full blown panic mode when I came out of it. And I was like,
Oh.
apparently, if I ever have to get surgery, they better put me in a freaking coma because when I wake up from the anesthesia, I am like terrified.
I had the complete opposite reaction. I was fine at first. At first. So we're driving, my mom took me. We're driving home and she's like, I'm gonna stop at Walmart and grab some stuff just for you to drink, for you to eat. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
fine. And then I was like, you
You
know
were
what?
coherent?
Yeah. No, just wait.
Oh.
So I was coherent. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, I'll come in with you. I feel fine. I'm all fine. Yeah. So we go in, and I'm just like, I don't know why, but my first instinct, I can't eat anything, but my instinct is go to the cereal aisle. And this is when my brain just started to like the anesthesia, like after coming out of it, and the stuff I was on just hit all at once.
Yeah.
So I'm in Walmart, just like high as a kite, running around, and I go to the cereal section. I'm just staring at like I'm just staring at Fruit Loops. I'm staring at Fruit Loops, and my mom like she explained this to me because I don't remember any of this. I'm staring at Fruit Loops. I'm just staring. And she comes up to me and she's like, you can't eat that. It's only, I already got applesauce, yogurt, all this stuff. You're fine. You can't eat that. And I like look at her and I'm like, Fruit Loops. I didn't even say it coherently, and she's like, "You said Fruit Loops, but it like sounded like you slurred your words, right?"
Well, your mouth is packed full of like the gauze and stuff too. I'm surprised you weren't like bleeding from the mouth.
I think I was honestly.
Oh my god!
Like oozing.
The little
I was
kid
like,
walks around the corner and there's just some 6'6" tall dude, mouth bulging out like a squirrel with blood dripping out of his mouth.
and I'm just going
Fruit Loops!
Fruit Loops. So what ends up happening is like I get all right, I get kind of out of that headspace for Fruit Loops, and I just take off. I'm not running, but I'm not walking either. Like fast walking, like I just saw something and I'm going after it. My mom's like, "Are you shitting me?"
Your mom's probably like, should have locked his ass in the car.
I was like 21, 22 at the time. I got him taken out late. We were trying to avoid it, but they kept every time it was allergy season, my mouth would swell up and then they would push into all the other teeth and it was so painful.
I do want to point out you said you were 21 or 22 and that's late.
Yeah.
What am I now? 30? It's 2022. I was 27 when I got mine out.
Okay. So we're late bloomers to the party of getting our wisdom teeth taken out because a lot of dudes are, a lot of people, not just dudes, a lot of people get him out a lot earlier.
I think it's supposed to be easier the younger you are.
Yeah.
Same with your tonsils. So if I ever need mine out, I'm screwed.
Yeah, I also did in the same way with chickenpox. I got chickenpox when I was 18 years old.
Oh,
dude, my body, I literally look like it's just something from Bloodborne, just some mutated monster with boils and oozing all the time, and I'm like, ugh. So, anyways, I take off running, and my mom like comes after me, and she actually loses me.
That's great,
right? You know where she finds me?
Please.
She finds me this was before the remodel of our local Walmart. I was in the back, like customer support area, you know, that back area that they have with the bathrooms. But I'm standing in the corner like it's the Blair Witch Project. I'm staring at the wall and my head's against it.
Were you behind the counter?
No.
Oh, that would have been even better. They'd be like, ma'am, do you know this man?
He's back here and he keeps screaming Fruit Loops and he's bleeding
He's just
everywhere.
staring in the wall, bleeding onto the floor, screaming about Fruit Loops.
So she comes up to me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And my head's against the wall and I'm just like, "I'm just taking a little rest."
You should probably, because you just came out of surgery.
And my head's against the wall. I'm like, this is a good spot.
The wall was probably nice and cold, and you were
just
like, I can just sleep here.
And that's like the extent of the story that my mom told me. Pretty much, she's like, she kept telling me that I needed to help her with the cart. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll help you out, Mom. And my hands were on the cart, and every time I take one off, she put my hand back on there just to keep track of me. Yeah, and then and then I finally, like halfway home, I think we grabbed a milkshake. And she gave me one, and I was just like driving home, and it was halfway home that just like the mind fog was gone.
Oh wait, you are not supposed to have a milkshake that you're not supposed to suck through a straw.
Yeah, yeah. This is all stuff that we figured out. Like we were halfway home, and she's like, "Wait, you're not supposed to have a straw." Yeah, and I'm like, "Huh?" And she just takes the straw away. I'm like, "Huh?" Like the Tim Allen thing, just takes the straw and takes the lid off, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like.
I was really hoping you were just going to be just like smashing your face and try to eat it.
Yeah, that was when my mind just started coming back and I was coherent. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, wow. We spent 40 minutes talking about doctor things.
We had a video game topic today, but we
still got time. We still got plenty of time.
I know, but I highly enjoyed the kind of the bumpy road we took to get there.
That
was hilarious. We did some adulting, and then we did some embarrassing doctor stories. We did some wisdom teeth stories. I'm still mad that apparently I'm one of like 1% of people who has a really bad reaction to anesthesia.
Yeah, because I was just loopy and I was a goofy
The person before
goober.
me sounded like an insane clown. They were laughing so obnoxiously and so loudly.
Hold on a second. Continue. Nice. That was a good one, and I just had to get it out there.
Oh, I applaud it.
It's a complete rectangle on the sound bar.
It just went off the chart.
It went off the chart, and it was just so succinct and complete. All right, please continue. The insane clown laughing.
Oh yeah, so I was like, "Oh cool, I'll be fine." They're like, "Yeah, as long as you're not nervous." And I'm like, "No, like I'm going to sleep. I'm fine." And the person before me was having a blast. I can't wait to be stoned out of my mind.
That didn't happen.
And it didn't happen, and I woke up and I was, like, terrified. They were also really rude to my wife, because they basically, like, shoved me out the door mid-panic attack, and, like, she's like, "All of his crap's here, like, what am I supposed to do?" And so, like, she got me into the car, and she's like, "I gotta run back in for your stuff," and so she did, and I guess they were complaining about how she left stuff in there, when then she's like, "You kicked my, like, half, like, unconscious husband out the door when he's clearly not ready because you guys were stupid and are behind schedule, and now you're gonna try to shame me because I had to leave stuff here?" I was mad after she told me that. I was like, I might go back in there and be a
You just grab more morphine and just jab it into like Bane from Batman, and you just get super high and you just stumble in and just crash all
hey,
over.
hey, let's put stuff. I got some bone to pick with them. They were mean to my pretty wife.
She real you want a picture? I'll show you a picture.
Yeah.
I got a picture on my phone, see? And it's like a picture of like your dad or something. Like you got to the wrong picture. Like, that's my pretty wife.
It's just an article about like anteaters or something. You're like,
unrelated
what?
completely. And then they just, send you to the psych ward that's in the same building because they're just like, this
oh,
man's
I feel
crazy.
like security guards would come and just throw me out.
Throw you out in the
They're like,
street.
you can be rough. He's clearly high as a kite. He's not gonna feel this or remember it.
And afterwards, you're picking yourself up off the ground. You're like, I believe I had a hat. And then you see like a hat get thrown out, and you're like, haha, I didn't have a hat.
A
loser.
gentleman never leaves his hat behind.
You pick up the hat, and it's like a trucker hat that says like "I'm excellent" or something. Like
It's
some
not even
stupid
your hat.
That's the thing. It's not your hat, and you got a free hat, and you're like, got a free hat, losers. Take 2 steps, get hit by a car.
I will say they gave me. I think they gave me OxyContin.
Yeah. That's usually what they go for.
But while on, I was very good because I know me. I have an addictive personality, so I did not get a refill, no matter how bad it hurt, and how bad I wanted.
Yeah.
But I got through a buttload of the first Dragon Age in a weekend because I woke up, I waited as long as I could, I popped one of those, I was good for a few hours, and I just played Dragon Age to keep me distracted from the pain. And my wife just fed me pudding all weekend.
Man, the wife that feeds you pudding and you play Dragon Age, you're living the dream. So talking about video games, the buttons. Segway. You brought up a really good topic, and I want to do an episode on it, but we got stuck on the doctor stuff. But we still got plenty of time. Video game adaptations, either to movies or either movie to game.
Mm-hmm.
Such a interesting genre we don't see anymore because they're all just on iPhones or like mobile devices.
I do want to throw one more caveat into that in TV shows.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a distinct, because when we were talking about what we wanted the topic to be, I mean, the doctor stuff was just gold. We had
that just happened. We didn't even plan on that. We had a goal, but I had to tell my story because it's my civic duty. I have a podcast.
I love how you're like, I don't know if I should tell this, and you're like, I'm gonna put this onto the internet and recorded audio for 1,000 years. People can now listen to this.
To the one time I finished by pooping.
I swear to God, if that is the thing, I will have no hope in humanity. I won't even be mad at like us. I will be mad at humanity if that is the thing that makes us like get a bunch of people following us.
Yeah.
I had a point. I forgot it already. Oh yeah, we were just talking about like movies and video game, like either movies that they turn into video games, or like we said, vice versa. A video game that was so popular it got a movie. And I kind of wanted to talk about like what makes one successful, or why do some of them fail. But I want to throw TV shows in there because I think that has a lot to do with a success rate. Because personally, excuse me, and I'd like to know your opinion on this too.
Yeah.
I think TV shows that are spawned from video games are way more successful than movies spawned from video games.
Honestly, every example I have seen, yes, like The Witcher.
The Witcher, Halo. I don't know if you have Paramount Plus to watch it.
Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Wait, you liked it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't get me wrong, the acting's kind of cheesy and stuff, but I really like the fact that they didn't go for just this action-packed. The CGI is not good. I will say that right there. The CGI
I haven't now I'm throwing this out there. I haven't seen anything of it, but I've just only heard like terrible stuff. And obviously I don't base my whole opinion off of it, but I thought that was the universal thing. So when you were like, yeah, watch it, All right, give me what's going on in the Halo show. Tell me. Are the Covenant in it?
It's all a bunch of... The viewers are very particular because they are not following canonical lore.
Well, that would do it.
So just like how The Witcher is doing a bunch of stuff that people didn't like, but I can still view The Witcher as the masterpiece that it is, and it's not just because my man crush frickin' Henry Cavill is in there.
Dude,
no, but seriously, I actually
just
thought
imagine like slapping that ass. You know how like
it would hurt.
It'd
probably be a brick.
It would be a brick. All right, continue.
But yeah, no. So I will say this: there's some cheesy. Actually, that's not fair. There's some over the top acting.
Yeah.
But I think it plays into what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And the CGI is bad.
The CGI is bad.
I will. The CGI of people fighting. There's a lot of really good like visuals and stuff in there, but the reason I like it is they're diving super hard into a story, and it's not following. It's actually straying a fair amount, but the way they're setting it up, it's going to make a way better TV show. This is coming from a man
yes.
who had played Halo from the beginning. Halo, up every single game from the first Halo up to, I think it was Halo 4. And then...
You didn't play 5?
I didn't have an Xbox to play.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So I stopped at Xbox 360. My dad... Excuse me, my apologies. Halo 4 was on the 360, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. So a bunch of my family has Xbox One. They've all played it. I didn't have it. I saw a little bit. I watched some videos, but yeah, I didn't get to play it. But I played all of them. The Reach, ODST.
ODST and Reach are just certifiable classics.
Awesome. Reach might be my favorite.
Reach is so good.
2 is still the best for multiplayer, but Reach had the best storyline.
I gotta say, playing Reach was like watching a documentary that it's like of a historical event that ends badly, right?
Yeah, and I had read the books, and guess what? If you all want to be frickin' little prissy buttholes about it, the game Reach didn't follow the books, and the books were first, but Reach was still an awesome game.
Oh yeah. So the TV show like of Halo coming from
I think it's
the games.
Pardon?
Like coming from the games, it's like all right.
Different.
It's way different. I kind of feel like the vibe I'm getting is that it's telling a smaller, personal, more compact story compared to.
It's way more character driven.
Yeah.
Like,
and honestly, Halo's not character driven. It's just like it's more of the just.
Sorry.
I like it. You covered the mic like that was.
I was trying not to like have it.
And when you coughed, it just came over to my mic and peaked.
I'm sorry, guys. It's the stupid weather we're here. It's getting warm
you're
and then
cough
cold.
On a podcast. You're gonna be sick as a human being. It happens.
I know, but I don't like doing it unless it's a burp because then it's funny.
Burps are funny. I actually, whenever I record, I've never had to fart, but if I ever do have to fart, I'm gonna stand up, spin around, and blast it into this mic. Man, I'm shocked that I'm still single.
But so back to Halo because I do want to get to other ones.
Yeah.
Maybe slight spoilers. I'm not going to try to spoil the plot line.
Yeah.
But it's the Master Chief and it's 3 other Spartans, which is canonically accurate. Because the first game where he is alone, he immediately prior to that is when he lost all of his teammates. Right. And they come back later, which again, you prissy little buttholes. And you read the books and know how that happened?
No, they play Halo.
Do.
You know they can't read. You know they can't read. Don't.
I know they don't.
Like
They're
that.
like gonna make boom boom.
I can't tell my phone go boom boom.
I imagine Borderlands characters are as everybody who played Halo. Saying that as a person who played all the Halos.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do sympathize with why people might be mad that they're doing it. I also knew immediately as soon as they announced they were going to do a Halo TV show, clearly they're not going to follow all the lore.
Right.
It's a video game. They don't care. Do you think these rich executive producers know anything about Halo? No.
No, but we got a Halo TV show.
We got a Halo TV show, and I think it's actually pretty good.
I do need to watch it, and I 100% agree. Video games to be translated, actually, because video games actually, plot twist, you have those games that are dumb, goofy, and just fun. But actually, video games, I always can compare them to a interactive book. there was character building, there's development, there's things that you have to experience to form an opinion or to draw yourself closer to the character that is involved in the game, especially if it's narrative driven. And that's very hard to put into a movie. Have you ever seen the Prince of Persia movie that Disney did based off the game?
With Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Long time ago. I don't remember everything about
No,
it.
I liked it, but the thing was, it didn't follow the game either. But I think it would be better as a TV show, kind of like you said, because in the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which is supposed to be getting a remake, but Ubisoft,
I was too stupid as a child to play that, so if they do a remake, that would be awesome. I
oh
could
my
try
gosh,
it
my
again as an
sister and
adult.
we played the crap. That was our game. We would sit there and we only knew the story was progressing, and we figured this out as kids. Is like the prince loses more of his clothes the further you get in the story. So at the beginning,
Oh
fully
yeah, they're
clothed, but
sexualizing
by
him
the end,
hard.
he has no shirt, just pants, a dagger. And the cool thing about it in the game was this entire mansion. It was almost like a Resident Evil type of game where
That's what I was gonna. I remember my brother and I played that game for. Also, we were playing it. We were having a blast with it because I think we rented it back when
yeah,
that was
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and we couldn't figure it out. I was a little kid. I had to go to bed. My older brother could stay up and keep playing. We got to a part we couldn't figure out what to do. We couldn't find. We spent I think 6 hours, and we couldn't make
Was
progress.
it the zoo?
I don't even
The
remember what it
zoo always
was.
messed me up.
It
Continue.
was a ledge. It was a little ledge you had to go around a corner on. That apparently our stick wasn't working when we were there, and it just didn't. It screwed up and it didn't go around the corner. And I woke up in the morning and he was like at the ending guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I stayed up basically like all night and I beat it." And I was like, "But we were gonna play it together."
Oh, no. The thing is, I know the ledge exactly what you're talking
Do
about.
you? I
Because my
don't.
sister and I got stuck on it too.
This was probably 20 years or more ago that this happened. And I just, to this day, it made me so mad because I didn't, like, as a kid, I was like, "You did it without me," but we rented it. He had to return the
Oh,
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We were poor. It's not like we could just take the fee and, like, not take it
I know, and I
back.
know exactly the part you're talking about because we had that same issue. You just had to round the corner, but the camera angle
It was
didn't let you
so
know there was a
bad.
corner there.
I was so mad.
And that's still one of my top favorite games ever. But like the Disney movie didn't follow the plot, but the Disney movie was just a little. How do I put it? It was just lacking because he didn't use the dagger all that much to turn back time. He only used it like maybe twice in the movie.
Yeah, and when you're coming from the game where that's the whole point.
Like you could do fight scenes where he screws up and gets stabbed, and then he just rewinds time, and
That
like
was the whole point. That's what you did in the
and
game.
that's what he could have done, but no, they didn't do it. I mean, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, it functions at what it does. It follows
Mhm.
pretty much the same concept, but yeah, it wasn't as good. Now, like, what's another video game TV? Well, I mean, Walking Dead. They got a bunch of different games,
I've
and
never
those
played any of the
they
games.
vary in quality. Some of them are awesome, like the Telltale series of The Walking Dead, masterpieces. If you get a chance to play through those games, I recommend it. Great story, character development. You are going to cry a
Are
few
those one
times.
of those ones where it's like only story?
Yeah, and you can walk around environments and just interact a little bit. I know you don't like them, but this is for anyone else who likes it.
Well, if you're tied to a world like the one Soma is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not like Soma. That's just a
and
walking simulator.
I had no connection to that game in that universe, and it didn't draw me in enough to want to finish it.
Yeah,
Like The Walking Dead, I love zombies. I love zombie games and stuff. So
I
even if
love
it's
whoever Daryl is, whatever that actor's name is. I'm blanking on his name right now.
I am too, which is weird
Death
because
Stranding.
Boondock Saints.
Yeah, Reedus,
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. There we go. I really liked him in Death Stranding. Death Stranding's a masterpiece.
I heard that game was trash.
It's not for everybody. It's very deep and philosophical, and you just run around delivering boxes. But
Yeah, that doesn't sound. I get what you're saying, and it's.
the story and the lore and the world, super cool.
Do you want to
Anything by
know?
Hideous Kajumbo, I love. He's a beautiful
If I
man.
want to be deep and philosophical, I just don't. I stop drinking, and which we
If I
have.
want to be deep and philosophical, I stop drinking and stop taking my medication.
I'm not on medication, but no, I don't
I
drink as much.
am.
I get clarity, and then I think too much, and I have existential crises on an almost daily basis.
And then you drink.
Yes. So I probably should be on medication, but
And yeah, the movie adaptation games. Shrek 2, that's a fun game. You ever play
Never
Shrek
played. I
2?
didn't even know they had a Shrek
Dude, they
game.
have so many Shrek video games. So many. Shrek 2 was just, it's kind of like this very linear brawler, but it was just fun. It was just they went down to the basics. So just like run here, punch some stuff. Shrek might fart sometimes, and you'll laugh.
So I so we keep talking about games we like. Were these all big hits as far as whatever came second? Like video game Halo, huge. Genre defining, like
Right, right.
slightly I would go so far as to say maybe not culture defining, but it was big enough to affect a large part of our culture,
Yeah.
or enough people that I would say was a cultural effect. But the TV show you're telling me people didn't like because it's straying away. I think it's great because it's diving into a story, even if it's a different
Different story.
story,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's still putting it in there, but it's also starting to focus on the Covenant and their history and background and whatnot too.
Yeah, it gives you a little more insight, a little more history. I like that. I like, and
And
a
there's
lot of my
still
favorite movies are the like based in a series are always the offshoots, right? Favorite Halos is Reach and ODST. Favorite Star Wars, Solo and Rogue One.
Oh my gosh, I was so terrified. I've talked about it before, but the main dude in Solo was in another movie and he was
Beautiful
terrible.
Creatures.
Yes, that is still my favorite bad movie of all
That is a
time.
very good bad movie.
I
It really
love that. But
is.
I was like, "Oh, this is the dude. It's going to be awful." But it wasn't fair because
Oh,
he
keep going.
was so good in like as a young Han Solo. I was blown away. I was like, "No, that's on me. I misjudged him.
Yeah.
It was just a terrible movie and he just got stuck
Dude,
in it."
what if Beautiful Creatures got a video game adaptation?
I'd play it. I'd play it in a freaking
You
heartbeat.
know what I can imagine it being? You know what I can
Wait,
imagine
wait,
it
wait, wait.
being?
Well, I'm gonna let you go because I think it'll answer my question.
Well, I was just gonna say it's gonna be probably it would probably be I haven't seen it in a while. Some kind of RPG, a weird RPG, right? Almost like Final Fantasy 15 with the four boys driving around. Actually, that setup, I would love any TV show to get a video game like that. Like the Food Network, pick Guy Fieri and like three other people, and it is literally just driving around this fantasy land, getting ingredients, fighting monsters, and cooking some cool stuff. And you're always Guy. You'll always play Guy Fieri.
I mean, obviously, but who would be the main character in
Oh,
the
that's the thing. That
Beautiful
would be the
Creatures?
thing.
Would you create a character or would you have to pick from the pre-existing characters?
Dude, we could either do both. Like, obviously, this will never happen, but like, you could play as like the main guy or the main girl, or you make your own character and fall in
I
love
want to
with
play as
someone.
the what was it, Uncle Macon? You
Yeah,
can verify that on Google. That is still a line I use to this day. And everybody knows it's
beautiful
from that movie because I
creatures,
made everybody watch the movie
beautiful,
just to understand that
beautiful.
reference.
I actually think you know what it would be an RPG, but it'd be like a life sim.
Yeah, I
Only
could see
because
it.
of just how the movie was set up, like you just like live in a small town. It's like almost a dating sim, but there's RPG elements of like battling, just like
Oh my
super
gosh, you have
nonsense.
to play as one of the main characters, but they're supposed to be 15-year-olds, and your ultimate goal is just to get the 15-year-old laid.
It's like Leisure Shoot Larry, but it's just beautiful creatures. That's what it is. It's just the beautiful creatures Leisure Shoot Larry. Um,
Okay.
okay. Another game, Warcraft. You and I,
Well,
we both love the Warcraft movie.
I still want to know, were any of these successes, not the original thing, like Prince of Persia, huge success. The movie, not. Halo is apparently bombing, but if you guys take away my second season, I'm gonna
I don't
freaking
know if it's
rage.
bombing. I just know a lot of people don't like it
I I understand, but like, how have you people not learned? You're not gonna get a word for word translation of game to
because
show.
I don't know.
It just doesn't happen because it's not feasible. I love the games. They would not make good TV
Oh
shows.
my gosh, it would just be one constant action sequence. And the thing is, having extended action sequences recently, watch Pirates of the Caribbean, the second and third one. And like the action sequences are like a half an hour to 45 minutes long in those movies. And I was actually getting bored because
But
it's just
here's
like
the
so much action. You need that lull. You need that
you do, but
transition of just like normal stuff to build story, then a fight.
I'm gonna push back just a little bit on the action sequences. I think Pirates of the Caribbean did it right because there was still dialogue going on and movie plot. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
while they were doing it.
yeah.
And I do agree, a lot of people don't like that because if you're not into that, you're clearly going to be bored. But like, I think of movies like Lord of the Rings, where before Game of Thrones ruined everyone's lives, with their seasons. Lord
Oh
of the
yeah, there's
Rings,
Game
The
of
Two
Thrones games too.
Towers. Oh yeah, there were. I don't think they were very good.
There was a Telltale game, and then there
The
was
producers must have made them.
I get it
Okay, I'm
now.
done. I'm
The
done with all the
producers were
jokes.
the main final boss of the series.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Lord of the Rings: Two Towers had the longest battle scene in history before Game of Thrones. So, uh,
But also, there was a massive build up to that.
I agree.
It was not combat through the whole thing. It was just like little things here and
no.
there, and then it builds up, it builds out, and then it just
But
nuts.
they did it
and you're
right
just
too.
Like,
Like you were saying, they had lulls in the action and that's how I think they had it be a continuous battle scene. There was fighting going on in the background, but they had that 30 seconds of Aragorn and Gimli coming around to the side.
That's what I was gonna say.
There was some friendly, funny banter back and forth, and it was a break, and you were watching people.
Throw me.
Cannot don't the distance. You're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
have to toss me.
Toss me. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Don't tell the elf. Not
A
a word. I can quote that. I am gonna watch Lord of the Rings again. I love that movie. But that's one too. I want to get back to Warcraft too because I also agree with that.
Yes.
But I would say Warcraft was not a success as a movie because we did not get a sequel.
Right.
And people didn't like it. I loved it.
Overseas, it did. Like it made up all its money overseas. It made only like a 1% of its budget here, but overseas they were just like
that was my one hope. My one shining hope for a sequel was that it did so well over. I think it was particularly in Asia.
Yeah,
because Warcraft was so big there. I was like, please give us a second one. But that was everything that was so cool. It was over the top, but in a very good way.
And only bad endings. There was not a good ending in that movie.
But that's what I liked.
That's what I liked. I loved it. When I got to the end, I was like, we got like 5 minutes in this movie. They're not going to be able to save the day. His wife died.
He found new love. Oh, he thinks his new love just killed his brother-in-law, the king.
But his brother-in-law was like, to stop this, you're going to have to kill me. It was good.
It was so good.
It still frustrates me that we haven't gotten another one.
I don't think we're gonna.
No.
Not unless the only way that we would get more is if somebody else took it on and like complete rebooted it.
Yeah. Oh, but Warcraft will work as a good TV show, I feel.
With how heavy that, and I've never played it, but with how heavy that is, this goes back to our TV show gives you more time.
Yep.
Movies are at most a 3-hour theater release, and then you could have like a 4-hour extended edition release. Yeah. But a TV show, even 6 seasons is you could do like 6 hours. Or I like the new Disney format. It's whatever length you want. It doesn't have to be an hour.
Yeah, as long as it tells a story.
If you got 30 minutes and it's an amazing 30 minutes, do it. If you got an hour and 20 minutes, do an hour and 20 minutes if it's a great story. Yeah. I like that so much better.
Yes, yeah.
So, no more conforming to these big TV corporations.
No more conforming. Ugh. So yeah, there were Game of Thrones games, but I think they came out during the the show's run.
They were also supposed to be either along the show or before, because I think my dad had one, and you played as like completely unknown.
Yeah, that might have because there was a RPG that had it was a tale of two dudes doing something. I don't know.
That was the one he had.
It was for
one
Xbox.
Was from the wall, and one was like a noble who was overseas and came back, and he believed in some religion.
And the other one was a Telltale game, which it was good. Telltale games for me, story wise, fantastic. Have you ever played any of those like movie license games of like B Movie? I have played B Movie, the game. Like those older ones like Buzz Lightyear.
No,
dude, the Buzz Lightyear one, I think it was Toy Story U, Buzz Lightyear something. That game slapped. It was a platformer, and you just ran around as Buzz Lightyear in a house. And I noticed a lot of games don't do that, where it's like the setting is in a house. The only games I can think of is that Buzz Lightyear game, and then like Chibi Robo, where the setting is you're tiny and you're in just a house.
Army Man,
that was another one.
That was a great game,
dude. Question. I don't know. I just
MMLVSRM, code for unlimited ammo. 25 years. I can't remember what I did for breakfast. I can barely remember my family's birthdays, but I can tell you the code for unlimited ammo to Army Men Sargis Heroes on the N64 from 25 freaking years ago. What the hell?
Up, down, up, left, right. I think it's start, select, or select, start. that is the code for Star Wars Battlefront 2 for God mode. Now, the Battlefront games coming out of the Star Wars things, those were fantastic.
The older
Older
Battlefront.
ones. I'm not talking the newer ones.
Yeah, the new ones sucked.
The new ones
first
are.
one. Well, the first new one was terrible. I hated it because it was only multiplayer. I understand that that's a big thing now.
And there weren't any maps either. You played Mos Eisley or Hoth. That was it.
Yeah. And that's why the second one at least had a story mode, which was interesting. It told a story. I don't think I ever completed it because I got a little bored with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least they tried. But yeah, those first Battlefronts, it didn't. Here's the thing. That's when they could do those multiplayer ones right. I never even did online multiplayer because I didn't have good enough internet back then.
You use bots.
That's all I did. And if you wanted a challenge, you just jack the difficulty up.
Dude, that's like me playing Section 8 on my Xbox. Like
Battlefront 2 I'm sorry to cut you off, but the space battles. How many good games have space battles like
that are actually good, and you can land in the hangar.
You land in the ship and destroy
and this
the
was
ship.
on the PS2. This was the Xbox, and they have not replicated
ahead of their
that.
time. All they need is a remake.
Yeah, they just need a remake.
All they need is a remake of that.
I agree. I definitely agree. So, like, Star Wars will get some good games, movie adaptation.
Star Wars had some good games, some bad.
Oh, some very bad, yes.
Yeah, I guess my whole point as far as, like, movie versus TV show, I think you can explore more in a TV show.
Oh, you really can.
You get more for your money. It's a lot more prevalent, especially with the events of the past few years. I know a lot of people don't care, don't believe in what happened, whatever. I'm not talking about that. But a lot of other people now, streaming was a big thing before, but again, with quarantine and everything, it has exploded, and so many people don't want to go to movie theaters. They're either still worried about getting sick, not even in light of recent events, just in general, they don't want to be around a crowded space.
Yeah.
Or they just don't like people, and they're like, I can stream it from home. So, and I think instead of doing just a movie where it's a one-time thing and you have to wait years and years, still has a format. We should not get rid of movies. I am not saying that. But for video games that are people put their heart and soul into making, a TV show does it more justice because it gives it more time to explore either the characters or the world, whichever made that game special.
And I think the point you're bringing up is that when you're playing a game, you're immersed in a world. In a movie, you can't be immersed in a world in only an hour and a half. And that's why Arcane, you loved it. I loved it. They needed to make that a show. If that was a movie, it would not be successful. I
might rewatch that a third time because of that show. I don't know what it was. Maybe it spoke to my inner nerd, but I don't know what. But that was one of the best shows. It just doesn't matter of all genres. That was one of the best I have seen in such a long time. It pulled at the heartstrings. I mean, it took them like 7 years to make, but
so good.
But it was my favorite scene. I'm sorry, we're gonna go off the movie real quick. Did you have a favorite scene from Arcane?
Definitely a few, especially like the bridge fight.
My favorite one
going across that she's just like beating all those dudes up trying to get to what's his face, and then he ends up like coming after her to say, that whole scene right there is.
In the beginning?
Yeah, in the beginning. There's a lot of scenes that I really like.
My favorite is still between I think it's Echo, Little Man, and Jinx.
Yes, that is a very good
And he
scene.
just pulled and he's just like, hey, we're gonna play that game we played as kids now. And it took me a minute. I'm like, what are they? And I was like, oh, and he lost. But then he just I don't know why. That scene was just
such a good, and that's proof that video games can function in a TV show space, but not as well in movie space.
I've never played the games, and as far as I'm aware, those aren't really story-driven games.
No, they're just multiplayer games.
Yeah, because it's just heroes that fight each other.
Yeah,
but they took that and gave it a backstory. I don't even care if it's canonically. And again, this is a different route because I don't have any connection to the game. But so I don't know. I think people do need in some. If you're going to make a movie or show about a game, you do have a responsibility to stick to the lore as much as you can. However, the audience also has to understand that to be profitable, it can't reach the 2 million people who play the game. It has to reach tens of millions or hundreds of millions or potentially billions, depending on stuff like Warcraft, which is worldwide. It has to cater to everybody, people who know it and people who don't. Those changes will come. You don't have to like it, but I think you should give the show itself or the movie itself a standalone chance.
And just consider it as its own little thing. Real quick, I want to get back to what I was saying earlier about Prince of Persia because it came out.
I'm so sorry. I
That game was
completely
like
derailed us.
that video game was like it was like Resident Evil, but it was all centered in one mansion, and you're just running around that mansion trying
It
to get
was
to the hourglass.
the palace, right?
Yeah,
Or
the palace,
something?
because there was a zoo in the palace. There were all these different chambers, and
Hmm.
it was like a whole palace. It was contained. So if they were to make a TV show off of that, that wouldn't be very interesting just because it would just only happen in one house,
Yeah, he'd
unless it
just
was more
be.
of like a horror themed TV show because they were the soldiers that were transformed into sand monsters. That if they followed that, that would work better as a movie compared to the movie we actually got, which
Yeah.
that direction, it would have worked better as a TV show. You know what I
Wasn't it
mean?
like a Resident Evil 1 too where it was all interconnected?
Yes, but you
To
couldn't go
to an
back to
to an
previous.
extent,
Yeah,
I
you couldn't
mean.
go back to previous areas, but there would be areas like you go through a whole puzzle in this one room to unlock this door, and then you pop right out the door, like, oh, here, like the.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that game is so good. So yeah, and then there was like the licensed games that would come out, especially during the Nintendo Wii era. Every movie, every animated movie got one. Now I will say, have you ever played Peter Jackson's King Kong the game?
Mm-mm.
That is a really good game. It's like the movie, the game. That's what they call it. It is really good, actually. It's a first person
Of
shooter.
the
It's
latest one?
yeah. No, the King Kong Peter Jackson, the guy who made Lord of the Rings. He made a King Kong movie. Jack
Yeah.
Black was in it. You remember that?
Mm-mm. That one I am drawing a total
All right,
blank
that one
on.
was more it was more exploring the island, and that's what the game's about. You're more exploring the island. There's light survival elements, and it was cool.
I love Peter Jackson as a director. How am I like blanking?
I
Especially if Jack Black's in it.
I
Not
don't
that I'm a
know.
huge Jack Black fan, but
I don't know. You're the one failing
whoa.
Peter Jackson right now.
I am sorry.
I haven't even seen Godzilla versus Kong, which I do kind of want to see eventually, because I like those just giant, stupid
I
monster fight movies.
it was definitely good for monster fights. Plotline sucked.
Oh yeah,
It was
Like
terrible.
Godzilla, God, King of Monsters or whatever that one.
Yeah.
That one sucked
I,
because
l- I
it was like a love divorce plot, and I'm like, I just want to see a monster fight. Shut up.
That's what everybody when the first Godzilla came out, and I was like, it sucked. And they're like, but it's giant monsters. I'm like, yeah, the last 15 minutes was awesome when
I
they
actually thought the
fought.
first one was awesome because there was that build up, that anticipation leading to
It
that.
was too long. That
Yes,
was
I
that
will
was
agree
my
with that.
problem. The only I understand, and I didn't even mind the buildup, but it was like 2 hours. You did not need that long to do
D-
that. It was
But
way
some
too
of the
drawn
scenes were
out.
so cool, like when they're dropping from the airplane and land on Godzilla's back, pretty much.
That was cool.
I do like the ending, grabs the monster's mouth and just laser beam down its
Yeah,
throat.
I do remember sitting there because I think I saw it in theaters. I remember like, okay, that was way too long, but it was worth it for that scene right there.
I went with some people that I knew. Did I go with you?
Did you go with
Did
us?
we did we go and see Godzilla and we don't remember we went and saw Godzilla together?
I'm gonna have to ask Kate because she remembers all that
Because
stuff. I
I
do
swear there
not.
were some people that were there, and at the time I wasn't that great friends with you, and I didn't. It might have been you. It might have been you seeing Godzilla just laser puking down its throat. And then you get licensed games like the Superman 64
Never
and then
played
the
it.
Aquaman for GameCube, which are both the same game where you just fly through rings. That's all you do.
You're Superman. You don't even get to fight people.
There's not been a good Superman game. There's been good Batman games.
There's been good Spider-Man games.
There've been good Spider-Man games, but no. Okay. X-Men Origins Wolverine. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
That a movie. That's a movie. That sure is a movie.
I actually don't know if I've seen. I think I've
I
seen bits and pieces, but I don't think I've ever
It's
actually
not
seen
good.
it.
I distinctly remember the video game being awesome, better than the movie. Like they handed it
That's
off to
how
like
those
a
ones always go, though. Like I stopped caring about X-Men after the original trilogy.
yeah, because it went too long. It's one of those things they kept trying to milk it, and
Well,
like,
and now they're doing what they tried to do. I almost said what Marvel did, but X-Men is part of the Marvel
but
universe.
it's owned by Sony, sort of.
Yeah, it's that weird cross split, but like Disney still owns it, but Sony has the rights to the movies or something.
Exactly. So
And
whenever like Disney makes like Spider-Man, for example, every time Spider-Man is in a movie, Sony gets half of whatever it made, whether it be the actual movie, whether it be licensed products, whether it be toys, whether it be they get in half of
Mm.
everything.
I just they're doing that like universe split because I guess there was one movie where Days of Future Past or something where it happened and like their timeline split and then that's how they made all these new movies because it's in an alternate timeline or
Yes,
something.
yes, yeah.
And I'm like, no,
No, we'd leave them
no.
dead. We'd leave them dead.
I just well, it's like I don't care if you want to do a new storyline, but like I don't know. I some people love it. I don't want to take away from that. Me personally, I don't care. Now, I want to see the new Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness. I'm curious to see if we get some more Marvel games.
Oh,
Uh
yeah.
but
Yeah,
like
I'm seeing
I
that this weekend. I kept calling it Doctor Who and the Mad Universe.
you should call it that when you go there. People get
Can I
so
have
mad.
one for Doctor Who and the Mad Universe? I'd rather just watch Doctor Who, but I have a friend I'm going with. They want to go see it, so we're going to go see it.
But well, like they're gonna do because it's multiverse of madness, so clearly it's gonna be alternating timelines and or universes, and like for him, I get it because he's
Yeah,
all about magic and all that stuff. I guess
right.
it will make sense in that as long as it doesn't fracture the universe. Unless the only time I ever like that is when it fractures and characters come in.
Like characters from like different
Yeah, like from
series or
alternate.
something.
Like, did you see the Spider-Man one? I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so I do like all of
Are you
those
talking
movies.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or
No, oh, you know what? I will say either of them because they both had
Spider-Verse?
similar.
Fantastic.
Loved it.
I could absolutely care less about Tom Holland's Spider-Man. If I see him
Oh,
on the street, I will fight him.
why? I love Tom Holland.
Oh, I have nothing against him. I just don't like Spider-Man. But Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse, fantastic movie.
I love Spider-Man.
Brilliant.
Spider-Man's like was always my favorite comic book
Yeah, no,
hero.
Batman. I resonate more with Batman.
I was terrified of spiders, so I was always
Something
like,
in my ass. Mm. Now you won't get that, but like some people who watch TikTok religiously will understand that.
yeah, weren't they making fun of Batman because he was like the emo Batman
Yeah,
in this one?
in the new movie,
Oh,
the song is like it's that song. I can't even say the regular words because I've watched too many of the "something in my ass," and it's just Batman and just sitting there trying to
okay.
take a poop, and yeah,
So I will say I understand why the older generation didn't like it because they're comparing it to our Batman that we grew up with, which was Christian Bale, and Heath
where's
Ledger is
Richard? Richard.
man, Christian Bale's never gonna work again because of that voice. But like I loved those original Batman, or not original, but that series of Batman movies. I
The
thought they were
Dark Knight
awesome.
and all those, Chris
Yes,
Nolan. Yes, they were good. I
I
really
thought
liked
they were
them.
awesome. And everybody who's watching this, they're like, it's stupid, it's emo, it's this, it's that. I'm like, it's for a younger generation. It's not for you. Like, it's not aimed at me. I am not an angsty teen anymore. I'm a grumpy old white man, but even I still found that it was a good, like, cinematically, I think that was better than any other Batman. I think that
Oh,
is
so
the
you saw the
Batman.
new Batman?
Yes, we did wind up watching it. Cinematically, way better. That was the most Batman-esque, like,
He actually
universe.
solved a mystery, and yeah, like you said, it was actually Batman-esque universe.
Yeah, and that's what he was. Batman is a detective. Everybody's like, he's a crime fighting vigilante. Who's like, yeah, he does fight. He has all of these gadgets
But
and
he
stuff.
is a
But
detective.
he's the detective. That Batman is like, it's not Hercule Poirot. It's not Sherlock Holmes. It's Batman. Batman is the world's greatest detective because he's a billionaire and he just buys the crap to figure it out.
And I think we derailed from the video game
We
topics and just started
1000% derailed off of that.
episode title. Just I don't know. We'll have to I'll figure something out. But like constantly derailed, not on
Yeah,
topic.
and we're sober, stone cold sober for this
Stone
one.
cold sober. I think we just have so many ideas that we just want to throw out there. And yeah, that Batman.
I just
I was someone I work with, lady who's like, I don't like superhero movies. Watch Batman with my husband because he want to watch it. He fell asleep during it, and she was like hooked. She's like, "What's gonna happen next?" Like, and I think I think a lot of people just liked it. And I thought Robert Patterson, he did a fantastic job as Batman. I like him as
everybody's like he's too emo and angsty. I'm like, that's what they wanted him to be. Like, I thought he did well in the role that they told him to play.
It was more like a year one Batman. You know what I mean? Like when he first started out, and he
Well, he
wasn't
said it
like,
was 2 years. He'd only been Batman for 2 years because he
yeah,
called
that's
it
right, yeah,
the Gotham experiment or something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So he was still. I mean, 2 years is a long time, but it was like he's still getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
He's still trying to figure it all out. Like, I don't know. I thought I really liked
Oh,
it.
it was good.
That felt like 90s cartoon Batman besides the teen angst, but like
Yeah.
It was super dark. It was super messed up. And like that's what Batman is. Everybody's like Batman's the best because he doesn't kill anybody. Like sometimes death is a mercy. The things Batman does in some of the comics and the cartoons and stuff is like stopping short of death is mean.
Yeah,
It would have been better had he actually killed them.
Yeah, there was that. I definitely remember some of the Batman where it's just like the guy, like they read over his chart, one of the Batman comics, and like almost every bone in this man's body
He
was
brutally
shattered.
destroys these people.
Yeah, and then he's just like, "I'll let you live."
Yeah.
And they're sitting there and they're spending years in recovery.
There's some of them there ain't no recovery.
There ain't no recovery. Daredevil did kind of the same thing though. Daredevil game would be cool.
Depends how they did it.
It would they just copy Arkham City and like the open world thing and just put Daredevil in it. It would be perfect.
Yeah.
Because he still has like that grapple zip line thing and all that.
I mean, to be fair, that's why I like the Spider-Man games, is I just like swinging around the city.
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't actually like legitimately hate Spider-Man. I just don't have an interest in Spider-Man.
Oh, that's fair. There's other superheroes I'm like, I don't care about. Spider-Man was just to me because I have such a fear of spiders. I was like, he's cool because he's this kind of like how Batman was like, I'm scared of bats because of whatever. And he's like, I turned my fear into power. That was kind of Spider-Man for me. I was like terrified of spiders, but their powers are pretty baller.
Being able to climb on walls, being able to shoot web out of your ass.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Yeah, I want an Ant-Man video game. I love Ant-Man. He's my favorite hero.
There was an Avengers video game. Was Ant-Man not in it?
No, are you talking like the Square Enix one?
I think.
That was like the live act, because you could play as Ant-Man in the Lego Avengers game, which was super fun, but you would only shrink down to like half the size, or you get big. There's no between. I think that would be so cool, just, navigating a house, being little Ant-Man, flying around on Anthony. Like, yeah, that's the stuff. I like the heroes that aren't as impressive as other heroes. Like other heroes, like, I have the power to do this. I'm like, Ant-Man can turn small. That's all he can do, but he cool.
I will say the current like hero universe, my favorite is still Star-Lord.
Star-Lord's pretty good.
Also, who's the dude who plays him? For some
Chris
reason,
Pratt.
Yes, Chris Pratt. He's getting a lot of heat lately.
What do you do now?
Nothing. That people just don't like him.
Oh.
There was controversy about, like, I guess people said he made racist comments, but then they proved that like he didn't.
Well, everyone loves to complain about anything at any given time. You must remember that.
I know, but like,
now if they go after Henry Cavill, we will get on our horses,
kill them,
and we will kill them. Yes,
I will not. You will die. But
I'll bring my Witcher blade. You'll dress up as Superman, and then someone else.
I'd have to go as a wizard.
Someone else would dress up as that ripped like agent from the newer Mission Impossible movie that he was in, where he reloads his cuffs.
I don't think I've seen any of those ones.
So Henry Cavill was in a Mission Impossible movie, and he was so ripped, and he had cuffs, and every time he would do something, he'd be like, like he would like reload his cuffs. He'd just move them up a little bit on his arm, and then he would beat the snot out of someone.
I gotta watch that one.
Or someone could dress up as him in like the one of those Greek mythology movies. I forget what it's called.
He was in?
Yeah, he was in it.
I
forget what it's called.
The Clash of the Titans one?
No. Not those. Like Immortal or something. I don't know.
He was in one of those?
Yeah, he was.
Damn, I'll have to look that up. Did not know that.
Yeah, he was in one of those.
I mean, it makes sense. He's freaking huge.
He's absolute jacked man.
But, alright.
And he plays... I was telling someone about this recently. They're like, Henry Cavill, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's such an attractive man. I'm like, he plays Warhammer? And she's like, what's that? And I had to explain everything about Warhammer and how much time he spends painting, right? And after I told her that, she was like, he's not that attractive anymore. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's more attractive now.
Yeah, really.
This guy will not
Every
go
nerd
out...
in America is like, he's so dreamy.
This man will not go out and cheat on you. This man, because he's going to be at home playing a video game, or he's going to be painting Warhammer figures. He's going to be loyal.
And because here's the thing is, I'm not trying to besmirch his good name. As of now, we don't have any scandals on him.
Yes.
But, like, if he wants some, he gonna get some.
He gonna get some.
And I don't mean that in, like, a weird rapey way. I mean, like, he's Henry Cavill. He can just walk into a bar and be like, hey, I'm interested. You want to have a night together? And pretty much any woman's. I mean, I would imagine
I
would
would
be
I would
like,
hope what he would do is bring him home and he's like, so these are my space marines.
he's just like, I painted this one today. Be
It's still
careful, the
drying.
paint's still not.
And she's sitting there on the bed just like, really?
Just like a sponge, they dry.
They're just like, I need to leave. And he's just like, but this is my orc set. I haven't even showed you the
We
orcs.
haven't even gotten through half the factions that I've been working on.
And he has just like, he has a mansion, but 90% of the mansion is just filled with all these miniatures in different closets.
Actually, you walk inside and it's completely gutted. It's nothing but fields of these Space Marines fighting.
And he'd just be like, don't mind the Warhammer figures. Please come over here. The bed's over here. After we engage in sexual relations, would you like me to tell you about Warhammer lore?
They're coming out with a Warhammer Space Marine sequel. Would you like to know the plot of the first one to get caught up?
Because you probably won't play it. So let me tell you, it all starts with Titus. Because he is actually English, right? Like British, like...
That I actually don't know.
I believe he is, because he actually has a very thick accent, but he can do a very American accent well. Tom Holland's the same way.
Yeah, there were several who did that. Anyway, we're getting way off.
We've just fallen off the topic. We try to get it in there, but this is a standard length of episode, so we're good. We met the quota.
Okay. So I guess I do want to ask, what is, and it can be either or, but what is your favorite adaptation? It can either be TV show made from a game or game made from a TV show.
Why would you ask that?
I already know the answer.
You know the answer is The Witcher.
Until
that Borderlands movie comes out and I see it with my peepers. We already talked about it. I'm super skeptical of that, and I don't think it's going to be good. But if I do enjoy it, that's going to trump, because at the end of the day, Borderlands still has my heart. Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, maybe.
I haven't played that yet.
Oh, neither have I, but I can guarantee it's already better than 3. I still haven't played 3. I can guarantee the dump I'm going to go take in your bathroom before I leave and probably pre a little is going to be better than 3.
I just...
yeah.
I honestly don't know what my answer is for this.
Or Tales from the Borderlands. Actually, I might say Tales from the Borderlands is my favorite adaptation. But no, but it came from a game. It's still in game. It would still go Witcher. It would still go Witcher. I'm not original. Actually, Warcraft. I would say Warcraft and Witcher are both there. I thought that was a fantastic movie adaptation.
Warcraft is one of my favorite movies of all time. So you know what? I might have to join you on that, just because I honestly can't think of any video games that I liked better than the movies.
Right, or any movie that you like better than the video game adaptation.
Yeah, so as far as the actual adaptation, I think it might be Warcraft.
Warcraft did good. Warcraft was real good.
Warcraft did do very well.
And those orcs, the orcs were more human than
I take it back.
Uh-oh.
Star Wars Republic Commando.
Ah, shoot, you're right. That is also good.
So that came from a movie. Well, it came from the movie universe, but
it was its own thing.
They made the game and then they made books out of it. Yeah. So I will say the Republic Commando franchise is my favorite, because I love the books and I love the game. I really wish they would do a sequel to that.
I'm going to stick only because just The Witcher. I'm going to stick with The Witcher. I'm just happy it got a show. I'm surprised it got a show. I just love the game.
I think it's coming back for a 3rd season.
Oh yeah. They have 3 seasons to go, but
3? Is that 5 seasons?
No, like 3 season. I'm sorry. The way I said it was weird.
Oh,
they have
books
like
style.
No. It's just they have 3 seasons planned out. Like when the first one was coming out, they're like, we're gonna list this for 3 seasons.
Okay, I know most Netflix shows get axed after like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah,
and that's the good ones.
Yeah, that's the good ones. Especially some of the really good ones, like Age of Resistance from Dark Crystal, got axed because it won all these awards and was critically acclaimed, but we didn't get any subscribers, and now Netflix is losing subscribers all over the place.
Yeah, but
it's because they used to have the market, and now they don't have anything good on there.
They also are stupid because they think every show has to bring more people. Sometimes a show has to keep people, because if you cancel what people like, you're gonna lose subscribers, you freaking idiots.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll throw a death threat out there. Like if I had the opportunity to go to Netflix HQ, I would hold the ability hostage and be like, I want Age of Resistance 2.
But here's the thing too, is
but also Disney owns those rights, and Disney could pick up the rights, so that's what we're fingers crossed.
I bet they will. Disney buys up everything. But Netflix used to be my favorite streaming service, and now I agree they've had some, like Squid Games I did actually really enjoy. I know
Right.
that was a psychological like fu, like you watch that you feel bad after.
Yep.
You feel
Yep.
not like it, you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I do enjoy shows like that make you think because because of the twist they do in like the first episode. First or second, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's everyone's choice.
Choice. Everyone's there by choice.
Well, it's because everybody goes there. It's not necessarily, I'll say, their choice because they don't tell them everything and a bunch of people die. But then they have the choice to leave and everybody votes to leave, but everybody comes back except
Because
like.
everything is just so terrible that, like, I
And
would
that's
rather
why,
get
and
some
then
money and
after that,
die.
it's like, oh, that's a thing is they're like, only one of you's gonna win. That means hundreds of you will die, so one of you can win, and they all are like, it's better than what we have waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such a psychological. There's a tug of war scene that's just, well, I won't ruin it. I know you're against like a lot of when something gets real big like that, but I would say give it a chance.
Well, all right. Video game adaptation. Crab Game is the best adaptation of Squid Game. It's the exact same thing, but this guy, I guess he has a YouTube channel, made the game, and it's for
Oh,
free. It's
Dr.
a
Beast or something, Mr. Beast.
no. That he just gets money and throws it out at people. No, just this random dude on YouTube. He did, I don't know how many subscribers he has or whatever, but he just made, it's called Crab Game, but it's just Squid Game. Everyone gets put into a lobby and you play like, the game when you're all in the room and with all the bunk beds and you just, everyone's given a weapon and lights go out and you're running around. And it's like
Oh
it's
my
not serious, it's
gosh.
just parody and stupid. There's the red light green light one. All those games are in there, but like it's in between that level of like, oh, this is the joke and a meme, but also like it's made well enough so you can get
It's
that
kind
Squid
of,
Game experience.
yeah.
Yes. Also, the lobbies are incredibly racist and terrible.
Yeah, but that's just
Everyone who
video
puts
games.
their headset on, like I literally went into a lobby once because my friends and I were playing it, and there's just a guy just like screaming just the N word, and you could tell he's white. I'm like, "Ah, I hate the internet. Once you mute them all, it's fine, but sometimes it's fun to make alliances with people. Like there's tag, and there was one guy who's like trying to climb up the ladder. I'm like, over here. I talk through the mic and he's like, what? And he sees me and he like comes over because it's all proximity chat. And then like we hide in the corner. And then as soon as this guy rounds the corner, I pushed him into the guy and I ran the other way. And he got tagged. And then he was, he had the bomb on him because it's always a bomb on him.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, we did. Even though we almost got off track again, I was able to be like, my
You brought
gamer
us
brain
back.
knowledge. I brought us back. So, okay. So that's it. That's the episode. I hope y'all had fun. I hope
I think that was a wild ride. I thought that was a
a
good
wild
one.
ride. We went a lot of different places. I'm gonna blow up your toilet before I leave,
We probably
and
should have done the video game stuff in the beginning, I feel
we
like.
really should have. But
I
here
feel
we
like
are.
most people are not going to listen all the way through for
Here we
that.
are. We're here. We're doing a podcast. I am so happy to the people who listen. We love you guys, and we hope to see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
You're a little too into that one.